Before I got into drugs, I was a happy child. My family always loved me.
Growing up, I was a quiet, rebellious kid.
Grew up in a very abusive home.
I grew up in a large, loving family.
I was an only child, and after my father died, Mom became very strict with me, which affected my self-esteem.
Since my dad was always working, trying to provide for our big family, he was never around. And when he was, we would never see eye to eye and end up arguing.
As a child, I was very independent and curious. My fascination with the forbidden led me to try alcohol and cigarettes very early in life. I was about 7. By 15, I was actually using social drugs like cocaine and ecstasy.
But when I turned 15, my life completely turned around. I became the kid that always out at night. My high school friends badly influenced me. I started using heavy drugs.
I was first introduced to alcohol when I was 10 by my uncle and started drinking and smoking with my friends. By 16, I was already in deep heroin addiction.
When I was 8, my cousin and I smoked senses. At 11, he gave me a candy asking me how it makes me feel. By 18, I had tried all kinds of drugs and was in deep heroin addiction.
Trying to be cool like my new friends, I began drinking at about 16, vowing that I never tried drugs. But by 21, my friends convinced me, give it a shot. Once I tried heroin, I fell in love.
After multiple unsuccessful attempts at getting my husband free from addiction and overwhelmed with the responsibility of raising 2 children, I gave in and joined him. My biggest mistake in life, abandoning them.
After another fight with my dad, I ended up rejecting him and went to live on the streets, finding my own group of friends and trying drugs for the first time at the age of 15.
My eagerness to be associated with the world of crime and trying all the extreme quickly led me to surround myself by a very bad crowd. I was feeling powerful with all the connections that I could get anything from my clients. I wanted to experiment with every substance that there was. And soon I switched from social drugs to the ones that isolate you, like heroin and methamphetamine. My life spiraled down. Respect, friends, job, I lost everything.
I ended up owing a lot of money. There were people after me. The substance that I was taking was eating me alive. I wanted out, but I couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel.
I've always promised myself that one day I would quit and change my life. But when that day would come, I would turn worse or stay the same. I could never keep a job, so I started stealing from my family. Stealing something very valuable from my parents, I realized how low I have fallen. And I just couldn't bring myself to sell it, but at the same time, I didn't want to go through withdrawals.
I had many overdoses, so many I lost count. Had 2 deaths. I was responsible for getting my siblings into drugs. So when my brother died from overdose, my parents kicked me out of the house completely. I was destroyed, hoping to die.
Guilt over leaving my children was suffocating me, but I was helpless. I was too deep in addiction. And after 9 months on the streets, ended up in jail.
Walking barefoot and on withdrawals from jail, missing my family, I called my parents, but they said I will never see my children unless I go to a life change center.
I've had this emptiness inside of me that money or achievements couldn't fill. There was a point in my life when I tried committing suicide multiple times, but something would always stop me.
I reached a dead end in my life. Many overdoses, deteriorating health, hopelessness. I remember the moment sitting in a car with 2 drug dealers, and I was planning to actually rob them. And I realized that my dose was even more important to me than my own life. With gangs looking for revenge and my health at its lowest, I went home to visit my mom one last time, knowing that my days were numbered.
My brother Yuri saw me in this condition and started looking for the right rehab program to save me from my addiction. We have tried many rehab centers, but none seemed to work. It was a waste of time. I was still addicted until he brought me into a life change center. There I found hope from the moment I walked in. My friends and former drug addicts were there, completely transformed people. At that moment I cried out to God, if you could change them, I know you could change me.
Once my parents saw me on withdrawals, pale and cold, they took me to a life change center. Hearing the testimonies, I knew that this is the place I wanted to be at. I have found true friends, real role models, and I wanted to become like them.
My substance abuse led me to a lot of psychological problems. Doctors diagnosed me as a polysubstance user and said there is no cure for this. Once I heard that the Life Change Center offered freedom, I couldn't wait until they called up the pastors from God Will Provide Church to pray for me. They helped me realize that God still had a plan for my life and that it wasn't just psychological, but it was spiritual strongholds. At Life Change Center, I have received freedom and healing. The love and care touched my heart so deeply I didn't want to leave. Since I have graduated the program, I was able to travel and serve in different Life Change Centers around the world. Now I am helping and coaching women full-time. I have realized that the struggles I went through are enabling me to comfort and encourage others that are going through the same battles that I went through.
I found friends that don't abandon you in a time of need. I learned a lot at the center, discipline and work ethic. I discovered my talent and I was able to open my own business.
One special thing about the center was that only a month after joining the program, I was able to reunite with my children, and God started slowly restoring my relationship with them.
Joining the program, I've realized that people see this huge tree, addiction, but they don't realize there's something deep inside that makes you do these things. Life Change Center addresses the causes down deep to the root of the problems, the inner unresolved issues, this unforgiveness that I had towards my father, which was eating me inside out. At the Life Change Center, they helped me to understand and forgive.
When I saw the joy in their eyes, I thought to myself, man, I could be happy like that. The schedule was structured and it really disciplined me. And the worship time would really change my heart. It would touch my heart and bring my emotions back to life. The staff's constant care and encouragement really helped me through the most difficult parts of my rehabilitation.
Now I'm a free man, free from the addiction of drugs.
Now I have a stable job.
Now I am forgiven. My life has changed and I'm accepted back into my family.
I'm surrounded by a loyal circle of friends. I enjoy going to church and singing with my wife in the worship.
Now my family is restored and I'm able to be the mom my children need so much.
Now I rejoice in living for the Lord and serving Him by reaching out to those still in chains of addiction. My relationship with my family is restored and I have a family of my own.
I have a great job and I'm growing in my career. I have a beautiful wife and a daughter. I'm truly blessed.